Hey everyone, Zachary Fruhling, aka Cozy Azeroth here. I'm waiting for my friend Dylan to join us in Discord, and we're going to work on our retro Dragon Ball Z themed 8-bit style fighting game called Frieza's Fury. Dragon Ball Z themed game. So I'm just waiting on Dylan. In the meantime, I was just looking over this PICO-8 cheat sheet, familiarizing myself with a couple things I wanted to look at. Nothing too groundbreaking. In fact, I'm going to message him real quick, let him know I'm in Discord. So we've made a lot of progress on the game. We've got two fight mechanics, a punching and a Kai Blast. The Kai Blast does cool things. It has a little explosion that happens when the projectile impacts the other player. It's adjusting the health correctly. Last time we added rounds to the game, so when either the timer counts down to 0 or the health goes down to 0, the round ends. It says which player won the round, starts the next round, little countdown to start the next round, so on and so forth. Now we need to actually end the game after a player wins 2 rounds. We need to update the display of the Dragon Balls to indicate how many rounds a player has won. So those are the two things I really want to try to do today. And if we have time, we're going to start working on the character selection screen, which I might need some graph paper to draw out. I think I have a pad of graph paper here somewhere, actually. That's the other thing I was hoping we could start work on today if there's time, but the first two things may take a little bit of time, so we'll see how it goes. In the meantime, Dylan will show up in a minute. Let's get the game loaded up. So we're in PICO-8. We need to change directory to fight, and then we need to load fight. And this should be the current version of the game. Let's run it. Oh yeah, round 1, ready to fight, 3, 2, 1, fight. We've got music and sound effects now. Oh, it sounds so good. It sounds really awesome. Out of curiosity, I want to see what happens when the timer goes down to 0. The other player needs it around pretty well. I forget which buttons do what, so let's see here. There it is. 2 different sound effects for the 2 different characters, Kai Blasts. It's pretty impressive looking, if I do say so myself. I hope everyone's equally impressed. Let me look at the artwork here again. Wow, it's looking really good. Look at all this artwork that Dylan made. Good stuff. I have to kind of remind myself about the code too. So we got variables for tracking the rounds, but we also need a variable to indicate what screen we're on. If we're going to add a character selection screen before the fighting, so we need like a variable called screen probably, where the value 0 is the character selection screen. Screen 1 is, screen value 1 is probably the fighting screen, and maybe an end screen, game over screen or something like that. Kind of retro style, or maybe it shows the character sprite, the character that won, Pac-Man style. We've used up 3,199 of our 8,192 possible tokens, so we've not been very efficient in this code. And if we start to run out of room, we might need to tighten it up, but this is my first time making a game this sized. So we are erring on the side of being verbose so we can read it, but we can always trim it a bit if we need to. Just want to make sure I'm in the right Discord real quick. Oh yeah, no problem. So let's see. So right now we have these variables, player 0, rounds 1 equals 2, and we're doing that only so we can see these Dragon Balls right here, but the little orange circles with the 1 and 2 dots. So what we need to do is in the code that ends the round, we need to make sure that when the round ends, it's incrementing the right variable for the correct player. Hey, is that you, Dylan?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I heard you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, 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 good. Been a busy few days, but you know, it's exciting to get back to working on our game.
Same, feel that.
It's hard when I step away from it. It's like I have to remind myself, where the hell were we? How did we do this? Am I going to be able to jump back in and figure out what the hell I was doing? There's a little
You
bit of
got
fear every time we jump back in. It's like, am I going to be able to make heads or tails of what we did last time?
the
But so
Yeah,
far
I
we haven't
definitely
been
get
held
that.
back. So
I love it though. Yeah, it's looking really good. I haven't even messed with it at all this last week. Yeah, I've been extra busy too.
have you had a chance to play it with either with Brandy or with a friend? You know, testing it out and trying, just seeing how the gameplay feels so far. I mean, what do you? Is it fun?
Not this last week. It was a bit too chaotic.
It's
It's been
okay.
a little bit too chaotic. I got to show Brandy
Uh
at
huh.
least, but
What'd she think?
yeah, she liked it. Yeah, she was really surprised and was like, "Whoa, that looks really good." I was like, "Thank you." Yeah, I think it was like freaking great. Yeah, she didn't have any like critiques or anything. She was
I,
just like, "Wow, that
I'm
looks really good."
surprising myself. You know, I mean, I'm looking at this code going, wow, we wrote all this from scratch.
Yeah,
You
dude.
know.
Well, technically, you wrote all that. I've helped nudge, but you literally wrote it. I mean, not even technically.
I think you know, one I'm looking at this now, like this draw function. There are things I want to do, like everything here that's manual code. I basically just want this to be a list of functions. Everything that's hard coded here into this draw function, I want to turn into a function up above and just call the function. So basically, we can look at this draw loop and understand the entire draw loop at a glance just by reading the function names.
Okay.
But we don't want to do that right now. I'm sharing my screen. Are you seeing my screen in Discord?
Yep.
Let's see. What
I
do we
sure
want to
am.
do? Reset main timer to
Okay.
99 between rounds. Did we do that already? I don't
Oh,
remember. What's that?
I don't think so actually.
Let's run it and test it. I can't remember if we did that. The round counter's so cool.
I forgot the music was in there.
The music is awesome.
Yeah.
It really reminds me of Metroid back in the day. The original Metroid. And that's the kind of
I need to play
this.
that.
Yeah, you should. That's a great game. It's classic because it was innovative at the time because it's a game that does horizontal scrolling and vertical scrolling, and the way that NES games were programmed, that was quite a challenge. So because they actually have to draw things off screen, and so that way when you scroll, the things are already there. But when you change scrolling directions, you have to change the way they draw things off screen. So from a programming standpoint, it was pretty innovative at the time. I know this is tedious to wait for this 99-second countdown, but let's see what happens when the round
You can
ends.
also knock someone out, and then
I could.
I
That's
think
true.
the timer will stay at whatever time it's at.
Well, I don't think I've let it count down to 0, and I want to make sure the round is ending properly when it counts down to 0 as well. So, although what happens if they're equal? No one's done any damage. We haven't said what happens if there's no. This is a problem. We haven't said what happens if there's no damage.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah. Who
wins? Nothing wins. No one wins.
I think it'll make Goku win.
Right, so we're gonna have to
program. I bet player 1 will win. Player 0 might prioritize.
It might. Let's see what happens. I'm curious. I just realized we didn't actually account for this. Yeah, Goku. So it defaults to Goku. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that would be something to figure out, so it doesn't default to Goku.
Right. Okay. So that's a problem, but we can work on that. So let's go back to our
Yeah, and
list
that's
here.
something I haven't really noticed so far is any ties in any
Mm-hmm.
of the playing that I did do. I did play with it for a little bit to see if I could get it to mess up, and it seemed to just keep counting up until I reset the game
I
and
mean,
to work
if there's a
pretty
tie, we could just
accurately.
repeat the round. I mean, that's a way to do it.
Yeah,
Okay, so reset the timer to 99. Display the correct number of Dragon Balls. Okay, account for a tie if the timer runs
yeah.
out. It's funny to think of all the things you didn't think of until you played. You go, oh yeah, we didn't account for that. Oh crap, you know. Account
Exactly, and then it's just like fill in the blank. That's why I like this modular style.
yes. Levels are equal. Okay. I think it's probably easy to set the main timer to 99 between rounds. Let's start with that. I'm just gonna. I feel like I want to do the low hanging fruit here and fix as many things as we can fix. So
Yeah, it
where?
just goes in that little reset area.
Yes. Where does the round end?
Down. Yeah, I think it's further down.
It's past all this.
And it's another big segment. Oh, oh wait, no, not that one. I think we're close. This is so cool. Yeah, I forgot how much you did last time since I wasn't able to like pay attention. I was
Yeah, I mean,
driving and
it's. I have to remind
I
myself
didn't.
here. So we've got.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got display round start timer. Draw round start box. In round box loop. That's just the
I think
loop.
it was pretty much the last thing in this section.
In
In the,
round. This
in
is
the
it, right? Oh, reset player
it's
values. It's right here. We want to set the
there it
timer back to
is.
99, right?
Yeah, right in this area. Somewhere in here. Timer equal 99.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah, I think we
if
can
I
probably
thought,
put it right
yep.
here, I
Yeah, I think
think.
that's
Let
fair.
me remind myself what we called the darn thing. Um, where are you? Got a lot of variables here.
That's
Timer
awesome.
equals
Oh, there it is.
99.
Perfect.
Timer delay equals 0. What's that for? I forget. Oh yeah, it's for the loop for counting the timer. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think we can just do it right there, I think, and that should fix that problem. I love those things where you can just add one line of code and it fixes the problem. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Reset player values. I think we can do it right here. Timer equals 99.
Perfect.
Let's just test it.
It's so cool looking. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so boom, boom, boom. The round ends. Yep. Let's make sure it's working.
Nice.
90, yeah, okay, so that's one. Nice. I love the things we can check off the list with literally a single line of code. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Boom.
right there,
Timer
done. Boom.
function.
Okay, let's get the correct number of Dragon Balls displaying based on the rounds one. How
Yeah.
about that?
Cool. Yeah, that would be sick.
So we need to do a.
Well, what'll it do once we get beyond those two? I guess it just won't do anything, huh? Because there wouldn't be anything.
Yeah, I mean,
Because we're gonna get. Well, we have 3 Dragon Balls created. I don't know if we
we're
cut
not
the
going to
third
use the
one.
third one though. Although maybe, no, we're not going to use the third one. We'll just keep
Yeah, I
it in
don't
there
think
for
we need
now.
it.
But I don't think we're going to need it. So we need to start out by setting them to 0. Right now they're set to 2, so we could make sure they were in the right spots. But let's get them set to 0. And then when we figure out who won the rounds, all we need to do is increment the right variable based on which player won the round. So where is it? Right here. Player P0 rounds 1. That needs to be 0. This needs to be 0. And I always test it at every turn just to make sure. Yep, so no Dragon Balls displayed.
Perfect.
So now, where is the code for ending the round and saying who won the round? It's funny. This game is getting so big. Every time I look at it now, I have to kind of mentally map it. You know what I mean? For a while, I could
Yeah.
remember it, at a glance. Now it's like, okay, now I need to dive back in to reacquaint myself, which is good practice, actually. We've done a good
It
job
is.
because
It got
everything's
much
labeled
harder
so
after
well.
not. Yeah,
What's
it got
that?
harder after not being able to like watch last time, and
Mm-hmm.
there was so many new things whenever I got back in that I didn't watch be created. But I did go through it and read it and freshen myself with it. I guess not even refresh. I need to go back and just like watch the video of that one, just because I was driving and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I did go back through and read this after we got off last time off the chat. And I read through everything.
Okay, so here we go. End round. This is the function that ends the round. If round state equals 1, that's if we're in a fighting state. If the timer equals 0, or P0 health equals 0, or P1 health equals 0, remember that, then the round state gets changed to 2. That means that's what triggers the box popping up. And here's where we calculate the here's where we calculate who won the round. If P0 health is greater than P1 health, then here we can probably do the code for the tie right here as well in this function. So let's get the Dragon Balls working, and then let's maybe solve the bug with the tie
Situation.
Yeah, and I think we can probably. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Let me think about that while I'm doing this. So round winner equals 0. So we need to, if the round winner is 0, at the same time, we need to say, oh, what the hell is it? P0 rounds 1. Is that right? I'm gonna check it here in a minute. Equals
So
plus equals 1. Let me scroll back up here real quick. Can't remember the variable names. You have so many variables. P0 rounds 1. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny. I know myself. I know what I would have called it.
Yeah, exactly.
Every programmer probably
that,
has.
that sounds right. It's at least a variable.
Every programmer probably has their own style, and I think I clearly have my own style of variable names here.
I like it. I think it looks good with this aesthetic.
Why can't I find the end round? There it is. Okay. So, and we need to do the same thing here. P1 rounds 1 plus equals 1. That should do it. Let's test it. So they start out at 0. We got the countdown timer. We're fighting. The counter's happening. Got some punching. Boom, boom, boom. Round ends. And look, Frieza won and gets the Dragon Ball.
Oh, nice.
Now let's have the other one win. Gotta remember the buttons here. There we go.
Goku
Nice.
wins. Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Boom,
Well,
bam.
I'd say we did it.
What
Let's just
happens
keep
if you get
testing
the
in here. Now, we only accounted for 2 possible Dragon Balls, so once we get to number 2, the game's going to continue because we haven't ended the game yet, but nothing new is going to happen with the Dragon Balls yet. So if we keep going,
perfect for that?
yeah, it's just, it'll probably say wins round 4, but nothing, then the Dragon Balls go away because the game will actually be over at that point, so that's fine. So
Perfect.
I'd say we actually, in a very small amount of time, did 2 of the things we wanted to do today, which is awesome. Nice. Let's see if we can.
Wait,
What's that?
I just said moving quick.
I think I actually want to end the game because that's a major thing in solving this bug for there being a tie. That's a smaller thing, but it also we have to create some new things. We have to create some new verbiage, like it's a tie, repeating the round. We have to figure out what. There's more to figure out there. I think just ending the game is obvious. We want to end the game when. Okay, so let me think. I'm looking at all this stuff we added to add the rounds. Okay, so we have the round start timer, draw the round start box, round start countdown, draw a round end box. So I think we want to do it here. Let me run this by you. What if we put it inside the round end box, but only after either player has reached 2 rounds won. And then instead of what's here, or we say such and such wins round whatever. There's 2 options. I think we could put it inside the box. Such and such wins the game, or whatever the verbiage is. Or we'd have a completely separate screen, like a blank screen or something that just says, Goku wins with a little picture of Goku there or something like that. What do you
I
think?
think that text box.
You like the text box?
Yeah, just changing the verbiage within the box. Yeah, to wins fight or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, something like that instead of wins round.
Okay, I like that. Um, let me look at the position of things in that box. Okay, so there's plenty of room inside that box.
Yeah.
Okay. So we definitely want it in the round end box, I'd say, right? Although that
Yes.
displays, well, hold on here, end round. Where do we tell it to move on to the next round? This is interesting because it's not. Why can't I remember where? Where does it actually counting the number of? Oh, right here, end round box loop. Oh yeah, the round ends after that timer goes down. Okay. So what we want to do, I think. Sorry, I'm just thinking through this. There's a few things that need to happen. We need to. We need to basically say here where it's adding 1 to the round. We basically want to say we only want it to add 1 to the round number if we need a new round, right? If we don't need a new round, if 2 rounds have already been won, then we want to do something new. We want to end the game. So we need an end game function probably. that trigger something new inside that round end loop or that round end box, but so tricky because this is only changing after we need to detect the end of the game before this delay happens, not after. The round here is changing after this delay.
My left.
Yes.
I
What?
know you're busy, but I've decided I'm not going to do DMV today, but I am going to go to the grocery store.
Oh, okay.
Oh, can you make my list?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay. I love you,
I love
and
you.
I will close the door because when I get back, I'm gonna watch this show.
Okay,
And I don't
I'm
want
gonna
to
work on this for a while. So
you enjoy yourself.
thanks, my love.
I can't wait to see what you do.
I'm like Liberace said before one of his piano melodies. I'm kind of anxious to see it as well. So
I love you.
love you too. Okay, let's see here. End round. You there, Dylan?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Man, we added a lot last time.
Yeah, for real.
we were beasts.
Yeah, you're going off on making that in round so fast.
I was
Yeah,
I'm
I've
surprised it came
struggled with
together
that
this
for
fast.
so
Actually,
long. Yeah,
now
it
I have to
really
remind
did it.
myself
It
how
looks
the
so
hell.
good. Yeah, that's why I was like, this is going really great.
Yeah, but I'm having
I'm
a hard time
excited to
reminding
see
myself
how
exactly
you
how it
wrap
all
it
fits
up.
together, so I know where to end the game. You know.
Uh-huh. It sounds like you're on the right trail, though.
Yeah, I
What
think
you were
so. It's
saying is
just
making sense.
okay. So we have this function: display the timer, display the start box, which contains display the timer. Round start countdown. Okay, that's the loop for the timer countdown to start the round. Now here's the round end box. I think we actually need to just create a new function called, end game box. And then we need a
Yeah.
function called end game, and we're constantly
Or in
looking
fight.
in fight, end game. No, in end game. End
Okay.
game. Because the game's gonna end, right? 2 out of 3 rounds, game over, and then it resets everything, maybe back to the character selection screen eventually. So I'm gonna run the risk of just building on what we've already got here. And we're going to go inside this initialization function. So we're going to create a new function called what do we call this? Display draw round end box. Draw game over box. Game over? Game over. It's very 1980s, right?
Yeah.
Draw game over box. Let's get our box. We need our dimensions for our box here. These are our rectangles, right?
Yes.
Let's just get them in there, and then we can write the code around it. Okay. Draw game over box. I mean, this maybe sounds like a bit of a cop out, but I'm sort of thinking like, we just need a variable called game over, yes or no, true or false. And if it's true, then if the game is over, then this box is displayed. If the game is not over, this box is not displayed.
Seems like it would work.
It's
Yeah.
plausible enough. Okay, so where's the game loop stuff here? Love you, my love.
I love you, my love. I forgot my shoes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm running to the store. I'll be back.
Okay,
soon.
we're just
I love
powering through this stuff. You know how it is.
Yeah.
I
I
love
love
you.
you.
Okay, so I think we can game over variable. Game over equals false. Right? So now we can come down here and say only display this box if game over is true.
Yes.
And then even if this box goes on top of the other boxes, who cares, right?
Yeah, you would
never
really you want it
notice.
to draw it over the rest. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess if we do that, then we don't even have to worry about making the other boxes go away.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. That's what I did when I erased the health bars.
Right, but it's a little bit of cheating, and a little bit of cheating you can get away with. A lot of cheating will come back and bite you in the ass, probably, right? So it
Yeah.
seems like a harmless kind of cheating, but so we want if game over equals true. I have to remind myself how these if-then statements work. Then, and we need an end statement after this, right? Now we need some text in there.
Pretty much the same as the last box.
Yeah. Only one player is gonna.
I can hear you again.
It's okay. Things happen. So, do we just want to say player 0 wins the game? Like, what phrase should we use?
Yeah, yeah, it could be wins game or just wins fight, since it's just like it's just a duel between two players, and then you go back to character select and
And fight isn't
you pick your
ambiguous in
new
terms of whether it's a
characters.
round or the entire game.
It would just be
Wins the
well, yeah,
match.
because yeah, or it could be match.
Ooh, why is it? Sorry, even something's wrong on my end here.
Match or battle or duel. I feel like in the Dragon Ball Z verse, they would just call it a fight.
Okay, let's just do that then. Wins fight or wins the fight?
Wins fight. I think just fight.
Yeah, it sounds so Japanese. Wins fight. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they're always like fighting each other, threatening to fight. I'll fight you. Anybody of the universe, you could say any name there. Plus, it feels kind of like paying homage to the original name of the game, since we'll end up calling it Frieza's Fury, but it was originally called Fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in a silly way.
Okay, looks pretty good. Okay, so draw the game over box. If game over is true, then draw the rectangles, and if player 0 rounds 1 equals 2, then print player 0 wins fight. And if P1 rounds 1 equals 2, then print player 1 wins fight. And we can also maybe add a little picture of the player there as well. Let's just get this working though. So now we need to trigger this. So when do the rounds end? Actually, you know what just occurred to me? Let's display the end round box first, and then after this countdown, let's then let's end the game. So where's the end round box? End round box loop. Okay, here's where we're changing the round number. Okay, so this box shows up, this loop happens, stays on the screen for 5 seconds, and then I think what we want to do is rather than just adding one to the round, oh, I hope I don't fuck it up. This is where I'm like, I hope I don't fuck it up. I think I'm going to save my work right here. Okay, let's go back. I think what we want to do is all right, here we go. If this is where things get a little tricky. What we want to do if both players rounds 1 is less than 2, right? If P0 rounds 1 is less than 2 and P1 rounds 1 is less than 2, then we want to add 1 to the round number, right? We want to keep the rounds going at that point, right? That sound right?
Yeah. Yes.
If else if, I think, because this is, yeah, because we just basically that if they start out less than 2, so we're gonna add 1 to the round, or else if
They equal to?
either one is equal to 2, then we end the round, right?
Yeah, the game over equals true.
Right. I think that gets us the lion's share of the way there. Rounds 1 is equal to 2, or P1 rounds 1 is equal to 2, then let's not forget our end statement here. Then game over equals true. That ends the game, and nothing happened yet other than that box showing up. Okay, unclosed function at line 9. What the hell did I do? All right, so I always have problems with this. I forget an end somewhere, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's only in the new stuff here that I added, so I'll have to count our end statements. Draw game over box. We got a function, and here's the end. We've got an if, and we've got an end. And we've got an if, and we've got an end. but we don't have an end here. This is the problem.
On. Boom.
All right, so we're fighting.
Yeah, round 1. Get ready to fight. Yeah, that looks good.
Frieza wins round 1. Okay.
Frieza wins round 1.
Round 2, get ready to fight. Okay. Well,
Ready
I
to
like
fight.
it. We haven't broken anything.
Fight. This is great.
Okay, so now the game should be over. So Frieza wins round 2. We get the 5-second countdown. Okay, the game did not. Oh, we didn't actually display it.
And it's saying round 2 again.
Oh. Oh, right, because
Right?
the game should end at that point.
Ah,
So we need to actually do a few things here. We need to display the end box, the game over box, and we also need to add a timer on the game over box that then resets everything and sends us all the way back to the beginning.
yes.
So let's draw. We need to draw game over box. I think that's what we called it, right?
Yeah, sorry.
So let's just make sure the box is displaying. It's getting harder and harder to test because you got to run through the whole game to test everything, you know?
I love it. Yeah, I'll have to be a tester at some point.
Okay, so yeah, it's not going to change the round number yet because we're going to get this pop-up over it. Frieza wins round 2, so now in 5 seconds we should get the game over box.
Frieza wins fight. Yep.
Oh, and we need to make sure they can't move around. But that's okay. Alright, so we're getting there. Pretty good.
Boom, boom. Yeah, cooking. This is going quick.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Okay, what did we do though to stop to disable the player inputs?
Exactly recall.
We use this round state. So we only enable the inputs if we're in round state 1. So we need to change the round state. We need to make sure we stay in round state. 0 is the round start, 1 is round action, and 2 is the round end. So we need to make sure when we end the round state equals 2. Why are we... Oh, it's because it technically thinks we're starting the next round when we're displaying the game over box. This is just overlaying on top of it, but we haven't... We need to make sure we're in... I guess it technically could be round state equals 3 is game over.
Yeah.
Which will disable the... Okay, so yeah, let's do that. If game over equals true, then we... What do we call it? Round state?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any harm in just saying round state equals 3.
Perfect. That's what I was wondering.
Because we're not... There's not... It should immediately disable the inputs.
A new round state. Yeah, it feels like a whole new round state. Category of it.
Yeah, and that's fine because once the game ends, when we loop back, we're gonna reset that back to 0. So it's fine. Okay, so this should... Okay, inputs are disabled. When we get the next pop-up, the input should be disabled. Yeah.
Let's fight. Nice. So cool.
What was happening with the timer, though? Hold on here. I just want to see if I need to mess with anything or not. Hey, we're coming along here. This is pretty good.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, so the timer's at 94. I think it resets to 99, but it's fine. It doesn't start counting, right? I think that's fine. Maybe we don't want it to reset just then. So I think over here where we're resetting the player values in the end round box loop, I think what we want to do, we only want to reset the player values between rounds. When the game is over, we don't want to reset the player values. You want to see the end of the last round, like where the players were and whatnot, or do you think it should just go back to the way it looked at the beginning and then freeze and just the counter is at 99 and the players are in their start position, but it says who won, or do you care?
I think it'd be fun to have them still like in their spots getting hit with the blasts and stuff. But I did notice sometimes whenever it reset the blast, the Kai blast would come and be reset with it too. So you would still be like in your animation doing your punch, getting hit with a blast, like with an explosion in your face when it
Oh, really?
reset. Because the Kai blasts are getting reset with it too.
Oh.
And the Kai blast animation, because they're their own sprites, I think.
Yeah. So we'll have to.
It's I noticed that sometimes on the round state, those were coming down with the characters and the characters in the punch animation. But it was also, well, yeah, whenever it pauses originally, it looks really cool when they're like still in their position and their health is all damaged and it's like this person won.
Mm-hmm.
But then whenever it reset the whole screen, the characters would still be in that same position with the Kai blasts exploding in their faces.
So we'll have to maybe look at that here.
Just sometimes, but I guess it's just when you were in those positions and it resets it really quick and then you just start moving and you go back to the base position. But that is, I did notice that.
Let me try something here.
But I do really like the way that it freezes at first and everything just stays where it is. You have just a second to see all the stats.
I agree. And then, so what kind of happens here, if you look, the round ends. So you can see it for a minute.
Yep.
And then when the game ends,
it feels like a perfect amount of time.
Frieza wins the fight and nothing can happen, and then we haven't told it what to do, so it's just stuck right now.
Nice.
I think it's okay. I like it actually.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect.
Let's do a couple things.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
I wish I was being more diligent about how many pixels to move things over, but so 2077. This will change this to 30. Just wanted to kind of be in the right ballpark right now. You can always tweak it a little bit later. Probably need to just bust out a calculator and figure out how many. Although, it's funny, I was looking at I've been playing a lot of old games lately, and things are not aligned perfectly.
Yeah.
It kind of adds to
the I've been noticing too. Yeah, I never even noticed whenever I was playing them.
Pretty good. But so I want to do two things here. I want to display a picture of the sprite.
Oh, cool.
What are this? P0 sprite and P1 sprite. Okay. Eventually those are going to get replaced with variables, but that's okay. just want to add just a, I'm always trying to make things look cool. I want to add a little candy to this,
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I hadn't even thought about that, but that'll look so nice.
Let's see, we need X and Y coordinates, right? So if up here we are at, I forget how tall these characters are. Wasn't it by sevens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so
I think
7
so,
pixels.
yeah.
Let's just start with 7 pixels down. And how many pixels? I keep having to scroll. I hate this. One thing I hate about PICO-8. So
Yeah.
let's just call it like, I don't know, what's half the screen. Let's just call it 63 for now, and 63 and 84 as a starting point here. 63, comma 84. Let's see, and which one is that? Which player?
E0 Goku.
Goku, right? So we want Goku in here. Oop, wrong one.
If you do some Kai Blast, you might see it do that exploding thing. Let's see if they stay in their punch positions.
Which one?
Yeah, see Goku's still punching.
Which button is the Kai Blast for Goku?
C or Z? I don't know. I need to look at keyboard. You don't have a keyboard.
A.
And the closer you get, the faster. Oh yeah, I guess with our new limiter, kind of it still goes pretty fast then. I really love the way those sound effects turned out. The punching and Kai Blast sounds. I need to turn the volume down on the background music, though, I think.
There you go.
Whoa. Oh, nice. Cool.
I'll bump it down a little bit. You know what I was thinking, too? We could draw a little...
Is it possible to enlarge it?
No. We'd have to draw
No.
a 2
A
by
big
2
one?
version of it.
Cool. It might be worth it.
I also thought it might be fun to have a little picture of a trophy or something.
Oh, yeah, that could be cool.
Just like Goku and a trophy next to each other. Unless trophies are totally antithetical to Dragon Ball Z.
I was trying to think of something that might be Dragon Ball Z-esque, like all the Dragon Balls or a Dragon Ball. Maybe there's but that would be if there was like an elongated process to the game, like you could gather the Dragon Balls. Maybe you gather the Dragon Balls and wish for characters, and that's how you unlock the characters in the game. Never thought of that before just now, but...
This is so cool.
Uh-huh. It looks great.
Right? I love it.
Frieza wins fight. Same.
I love it. That's so cool.
Dude, this is sick.
And so right now it's great. The game is essentially over. It's frozen the game. And so what we need to do is, I guess you need to decide what happens next. Do you want it to automatically go back to the character selection screen after 5 seconds?
I think there should be a pop-up that asks if you want to restart the fight or return to character select screen. Or if there's like a main menu, then return to main menu. Maybe all three
The problem
options.
right now is we don't have a character selection screen. So
correct.
I don't want to build that in yet because it's just going to break things. Let me go look at our list here. Well, we did it in the game when the player reaches 2 rounds. We did it. Okay.
Well, we can just add it to where it just restarts. A box pops up that restarts, and then we can add things to that box later as we're ready with the character select screen. So then at the end, once you get to that end, you can select an option that just restarts the fight.
Right.
That way we can keep playing as we're testing out the game, and you don't have to like restart the game manually. You can restart it from within the game. So someone wins, and then you can be like, all right, let's fight again. And then if you want to change characters, it goes to the coding.
So let me think here. So inside the game end box, we'll have Goku wins fight, a picture of Goku, maybe a picture of a trophy or something like that, and then inside that same box, it'll be like press start. I mean, what should it say?
If it just said restart, yes or no, and you could like select one of them.
What happens if you select no?
Goes back to the title screen,
Isn't that the same as
which
restarting?
we don't have yet. No, restarting would start the fight again with the same two characters you selected before. And ending that round or that fight would send you back to the title screen of the game or the main menu if we made a main menu.
I mean, we could say, press press I don't know, press A to fight again, or press B to select new characters, or something like that. Not so wordy, but
Yes.
um. We'll look at this code again here. So right now we're only looking for inputs if the round state is 1, but basically we're in round state 3 when the end game box is up, right? So what we need to do is, after all this stuff, all this player movement stuff, way down here somewhere, yeah, this end round state, that's what it was. So right here probably we would need to add a new kind of restricted input. We need to say something like, if round state equals 3, then look for these inputs. Press start to play again, or something, right?
Oh, cool. Nice. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And then the second that gets
And that's a
triggered,
good place.
we can reset. We can do anything we want.
Yeah,
So,
perfect.
so let's in the game over box. Let's add some text for that, so we can see what we're doing. Way up here. And I think we're going to keep it simple for now. Because we don't have a character selection screen. We're just going to say press start to play again for now.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
I think we want it to be right here. Print press start to play again.
What's the start button though?
Yeah, there's a select and start on the control pad, right? It's the, or maybe, or
Okay.
aren't there? Or maybe not.
I'm not certain. I'm not sure.
I thought there
Oh,
was.
that's.
It doesn't really matter. It could be press A
What
to
is it
play
on the
again. It
key?
doesn't really matter. So let's get some coordinates to it here. We can tweak it. It's okay.
Perfect.
So we want it at, let's do 7 pixels down again. So 91. So let's just start with 30 and 91. And we want color 7, which is white, I think. I think that'll at least get some text on the screen. We can tweak the position here in a little bit. I think probably I'm going to do a separate task in our backlog for tweaking the positions of all this text. Right now, I just want to get it working, and then we can just make a little hours project and make it look perfect.
I love it.
Wins round 2. Okay, so I just need to move it down a little bit. It's all good.
Oh, nice. I
Move
see.
it over. Okay, let's move it over 20 pixels and down. What, 3 pixels? I don't know. How did I get that wrong? 84. Oh, because it needs to be 9, not 7. Yeah. Okay, so because so this needs to be. Yeah, let's make that 93. Let's make this 15. Just want to get it in the box and looking plausible for now.
Nice.
This is so
Oh,
fun.
it's
This is
so
so cool.
Yeah, this is great. This is going so well.
It's
my
going
gosh.
better than I thought it would.
Yeah, I love the
Frieza
way
wins
it
round
looks.
2. Alright, so like 2 pixels over, or 3 pixels over, like 2 pixels over. And then down a little bit more. And we can tweak everything here in a little bit. But so let's call this 13. And let's call this 95.
I feel like we could take off the period too.
Or maybe put an exclamation point. I like exclamation points. Everything's exciting.
Oh,
with
yeah.
exclamation points. This is
Yeah,
the 80s.
exactly.
Exclamation points for everything.
I love it.
I like it.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, we just need to bump everything
Or maybe
down
instead of play again, press start to fight again.
We're already running
Since
out of
everything
room
else
inside
is-
that box.
Oh, fair. Yeah, we can keep it that way.
I think we're not. It's not going to fit in the box if we add characters. Which is a weird. I mean, I could certainly bump it down into make that line take 2 lines. Press start to.
Oh, you're right. Look at that.
It's not going to fit.
Perfect.
You know?
Yeah.
Constraints are good. I think constraints are underappreciated in terms of creative development. You know.
Yeah.
The fact that there are so many constraints on this system is the only thing that's allowed us to go this quickly.
Yeah. And it looks great. I love this whole aesthetic. I really like the randomized background. Yes.
Right, so now we just need to tell it. All right, so that looks good. So what we need to do is come down here and at the end of our... Okay, so right here we need to say, let me just double check how I did this up top here. It's going to be a lot of scrolling, sorry.
Good.
Okay, if round state equals 1, then all of this stuff, all the way down to here. Now we want to say if round state equals 3, then let's not forget our end. We need to look for some inputs. Basically, we're just looking for a start press. And so I'm going to go back to my cheat sheet here. Yeah, wait, no, we don't have a start, do we? Got a favorite button for restarting? There's no start button. Oh, pause. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, what do you think? Press A? Press...
Either 4 or 5. Yeah.
Or press...
Whatever buttons those are.
We could say press any button, or we could say press... I mean, A and B is conventional, right? Isn't A and B like...
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's just change it to...
A or B, yeah, whichever one.
Let's go up here.
Yeah, so at some point I think it'll be press, A to restart or B to go to character select. Hopefully, or something like that.
Yeah, we'll change it eventually, but for now we're just looking to restart what we've got, you know?
Yes.
So we don't have a character selection screen, we don't have any other options yet, so let's just keep it simple and playable. So it should say press A to play again. I like it. That looks good. Change the position. And then so what we want to do now is way down here. It's if btn, and we're going to do either player can restart it, right?
Yeah.
So let's let me remind myself how this works here. And I don't think it matters which, even though we're saying press A, I think it doesn't matter which button. Let's do button 4 or button 5. What do you think?
Yeah, we can do that. And then at some point, maybe we'll just add for one of the buttons to do something different.
Yeah, exactly.
But for right now, let's just program for both buttons for both players.
If btn player, it's player number and then no, it's button number and player number, right? Ah, shit. Now I can't remember. Let's go up.
I think that's what we did for the punches.
Yeah, and well, the other scroll up and look. Not that. Not that. Yeah, it's button number and then player number. Okay. Got it. So we're just going to add a bunch of OR statements here, essentially. If button 4 for player 0 or button 5 for player 0, right?
Yes.
Or button 4 for player 1.
Perfect.
Or button 5 for player 1. Then
the button.
And let's add an end here so I don't forget my ends. Yeah, so what do we do? How do we reset everything now?
I think you missed one of the buttons, the last button.
Did I?
Just the BTN part.
Oh, I sure did, didn't I? BTN. Boom. That's why I love doing this together. You catch so many of my mistakes. You're a good proofreader.
Well, I did it for the Marine Corps, so
Did you?
it was like, yeah,
I didn't know
freaking paperwork. Yeah,
that.
I had to do all the paperwork stuff for my whole unit.
Oh wow.
So it was just like going through and reading and making sure everything was in
Hmm.
the same formatting and just uniformity basically.
So I'm gonna take a stab at this. I think what we want to do. Let's keep track of everything we want to do. We want round state to then equal 1 or 0. We're going back to the very beginning, right? We want to reset the player values, which should already have been done, but there's no harm in doing it again. So what's that function to reset all the player values? Where are you? Reset player values. Yep. I mean, that might actually do it, right? We need to set the back to round 1 probably as well, right? And reset the
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, and reset the players numbers of rounds
Game
1.
over equals false.
Yeah. So now we just got to keep track of everything we got to do.
Yeah. Reset the stats. And yeah.
Okay. What was it? Reset player stats? Values?
Something like
Oh
that.
shit! I scrolled up to find it. And I already
Values?
forgot.
Yeah. Something like that.
Was
Yeah. It'd
reset
definitely be
player
worth
values?
checking.
I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, after all this stuff.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of this. Before the next section.
Reset player values. Okay, let's not forget that. Let's go down and do it. Reset player values. Boom, boom. Now we want P0 rounds 1 to equal 0. P1 rounds 1 to equal 0. We want game over to be false. Right?
I think so.
What else needs to happen? The player values, that resets the timer as well, so we don't need to do the timer separately. The rounds 1 should get rid of the
Dragon Balls.
The Dragon Balls. We need the round number to go back to 1, or what is it, 0 or 1? What do we start at? I forget what we started at here.
Round number 1. Actually, I don't know.
Round
Might
equals
be
1.
0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Round equals 1. Okay. I think that's it. Let's try it. Does it do everything we want it to do? We're fighting. Boom. Okay, so the game over is going to happen. Now we're looking for inputs, and now we basically, any button we press should cause us to, boom, check it out.
Well, round 1, get ready to fight. When everything's reset, Dragon Balls are gone. Nice. And I do it with Goku. Look at him.
So Goku wins round 2. So let's have Goku win. He gets his Dragon Ball. He wins round 3, which is perfect. 5 seconds later, we get Goku wins the fight. Press a button, and we're back to...
Boom. Nice. An endless loop. Look at it go.
We did it.
It's alive.
All right. Well, hey, this is, again, it's not perfect, but we're doing a lot here. Okay. So,
Yeah, great.
I mean, we kind of,
That's huge.
even though we just did it, I'm going to add a card for it. Reset
That's awesome.
game after game over. Boom, and that's done now too. Now we need to figure out what happens if there's a tie.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what to do with
Let's save our
and
game so
tying so
far.
much.
Save fight. Yep. All right. So let me.
I'm wanting to say they should either both get a Dragon Ball or neither one of them get a Dragon Ball.
I don't think either one should get a Dragon Ball. I think it should replay the round.
Perfect.
Round two is a tie. Replay the round or something. You know.
Yes.
So
Restart round.
yeah. So we want it to be in the. Let's see. There's two things we need to update the. Where's the round end loop? Where am I here? I'm totally lost. Right. So right here. No, not there. We want it to be, well, maybe in round box loop. We only wanted to change the round number if it's not a tie. And we need to do two things. We need to change something in this draw round end box. Oh yeah, because we have this variable round winner. Okay, where is it finding the round? Where is it ending the round? Oh, right here. Okay. Okay, the fight is going, and either the timer goes down or okay.
Just add it if player 0 health equals player 1 health. Then
I think what we need
in
to
this
do is
section.
actually. I don't think we need to build it inside that if then. I think we need a separate if then statement. Okay, because this is what happens if someone wins, right? If the timer hits 0. Well, no.
I think the only time your healths would both get there at the same time is if the timer runs out mostly.
Yeah, because other than that, someone's going to do it first, right? Because it's not checked
Yeah.
in simultaneously. But we need to account for it, right? So,
Yeah.
but I got to think how this works. So, if the round state is 1, that means if the action is happening, then either the timer runs out or the health. I'm wondering if we need to break this into two if then statements, but actually it's working the way it is, so I don't want to fuck with it. I think what I want to do, because we have right here, here's the two cases in question. If player 0 health is great, so this is where we're deciding who's winning.
Yes.
But then what do we do with that? Where's the end round loop? Because we don't reset the player values until after this timer goes down. So I think right here is when. So we end the round, then it goes into this box, and then the box is dictating when it changes the round. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So I think what we need to do is how to do this. So we have round winner equals 0 and round winner equals 1. I think we just need to add another value round winner equals 2 is a tie.
Yeah. And
Right?
what happens with that? Yeah.
Right. So let's
That makes more sense.
where are we defining the winner? End round. Okay, right here. So if
Yeah, round winner would equal 2.
yeah, so we need another.
And nobody's rounds 1 would go up. It would just, that would be the end of it. So the rounds 1 wouldn't even change.
Right, that's right.
So that's where it was added in there for the other 2 situations.
I think this is how we're going to do it. Else if
Yeah.
P0 health equals P1 health, then round winner equals 2. And no one gets
Yes.
right.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Now we come
That's
up
ended.
here.
Yeah, it was there.
Actually, wait 1 second here. Oh yeah, okay. We're still changing the round state to 2 because that's not inside the if-then statement. So that's okay. In round box loop. We do this 5-second timer. That's okay. Okay, so basically, we only want to change the round if the 2 players haven't reached rounds 1 and we're not in a tie, right?
I feel like we would still want the round to count up 1
Oh,
and still count it as a fight in the round, but it was just a tie, and then you go to the next round, but no one gets a Dragon Ball.
got it. So round 2 is a tie. Round 3 is a tie.
Yeah.
But the round number
Yeah.
goes up.
And then you go to round 4.
Okay, well that's easy because we don't have to do anything here.
Oh, perfect. I was like, if that's not too tricky, yeah, it sounds like, yeah, cool.
So I think what we need to do now we yeah, I see where you're going with this. Okay, yeah, I think you're right. Now we say if round winner equals 2, then don't forget our end statement. Print
Tie round.
round.
Start.
Hold on. How does this work? I forget. Round. Means round. What? What was this round number? Just round. Okay. It's a tie.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, and then if you just let the timer go down,
Yeah, let's
it
check
should
it.
result in a tie
So-
and no Dragon Ball should
So
appear.
round 1 should be a tie, but then it should change us to. It should still say.
Round 2 with no Dragon
Then
Ball.
the next round should be round number 2. So let's try it.
Perfect.
I know it's a long wait for this to count down, but
I love it.
I can't. You know, I'm looking forward to this game. As much as fun as I'm having on this game, I'm looking forward to it being done because I really eventually want to move on to a game that we could actually commercially produce. You know.
Oh yeah, I definitely am feeling that too.
I don't want to work on this forever. I want to make it good and then go, great, we learned how to make a game start to finish. Now we have another environment to learn to do it in a different environment so we can actually publish it, you know.
Now let's do something original.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is in essence.
Or
original,
reskin this
but
one.
also-
I mean, you know, I don't know. This is just a. I'll be glad when this is. Don't misunderstand me. I'm having so much fun. I'll just be glad when it's done. We can go show everyone. Go, it's done. Look at us. Woo-hoo. You know.
Same. Look what we made! Yeah, I know. I was telling my parents about it too. I was like, I'm making a video game. They're like, what? Nobody expected it.
I want to change the position of that single-digit timer as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Here we go.
Round one is a tie.
Round one is a five. Perfect.
Okay, round two.
Round two.
Let's just see what happens if round two is a tie.
Oh, good call.
And then we'll yeah. I mean, I guess in theory the rounds could go up to infinity, but you know, probably don't actually want to let that happen. But we could, you know, otherwise it can run all night, just like this.
Looks so good.
It does look pretty good. I gush over it every time I see it. It's just, wow, it's cool. It looks amazing.
I think it's that background how the stars change all their positions all the time.
Yeah,
Always
maybe we want to
look
reset the values of the stars too when it you know, we could rerun that code to randomize the stars. Which, when we start a new game, we could make a function out of that as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but you know, it's one little thing to do, but just to give an extra little layer of spice.
Yeah, so every time you restart a fight, it's got a new background.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
Yeah, all we got to
That's a
do is
great
make a
idea.
function out of that code for the just randomizing the stars.
Nice. Here we go.
Okay, so this is round two is a tie. Perfect. It's working great. Now let's
And
round three.
round three, get ready to fight. That's
So now
so
we come
awesome.
over here and
Look at him go.
boom. Frieza wins
Right
round
over
three.
there.
You guys keeping track of the rounds correctly. That's what I was worried about. Round four, get
Perfect.
ready to fight. Now let's say we come over here and Goku's being a badass. Goku wins round four. We'll get the position of the text better. And now let's
Yeah,
go
it looks
here.
great. Oh my gosh.
Frieza wins
That works
round
so well.
five, and now the game should end.
Yeah. Frieza wins fight. Press A to play again. And it'll just stay on the screen till you press something?
Yep. It just literally just stays there until you press anything. Yep.
Cool.
There we go.
Look at that.
All right. Well,
Sheila.
we figured out how to do the tie. Boom. Look how much we got done, man.
Boom. Yeah, dude. That's so sick.
That's cool.
It is so like, the rounds ending is so cool, and just being able to restart the game.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually really impressed. I was worried about some of that, but you know, as always, we powered through it, right?
Yeah, for
Let's
sure.
save our
That went
work.
so smooth. You just knocked that out so quick. I've been racking my brain around how in the world you can make that happen, but there it is. Now I've seen it.
You know, that's the thing.
tried.
That's the thing I've learned about programming. There's just always a way. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I'm so excited to see
This-
him
this
just
is
like
all
do it.
Chi blast variables. Chi blast variables. These are punch attack variables. Yeah, so basically, draw background is already a function, right?
Yes.
And so we just need to
Need
take
to
all of that and call
them.
that function. So what we want to do is we can do it right now.
Restart.
In fact, let's make a task for it. I'm going to be all granular here. Let's see. Re-randomize background when game restarts.
Yeah.
All we need to do is call that function, which was what? Draw background. Oh, actually, no, because this is literally just drawing it. We need to randomize it. So yeah, this code here, randomize background. So we would need to make a function out of this, which we could do because we're doing it. Where do we first draw the background? Oh, I know what we can do. Again, let me save my work here because I don't want to break anything in case I fuck it up, you know.
Yeah, this person's so
right, exactly. So, but I think if we do this, randomize background star locations. This everything here is all about the star locations and the planet locations, right? Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the stars and the planet.
So let's call this a function. Randomize stars. Sound good? And we just need to end that function right here. And now, because we're still in the initialization function, we just need to call that function once right here. What do we call it? Randomize stars. I have no memory for remembering variables now. Randomize stars. So we defined the function. Now we just need to call the function. Boom, boom. Because this only runs once on. That should do it. So we run it. Planet's in a certain spot. We didn't break anything. That's good. I like doing something fun with it. You know, every time we do something, we do the serious stuff, and then we come along and go, okay, let's do something. You know, let's do something. So here, now, when we restart the game, it should re-randomize. Oh, it didn't though, did it? Oh, because we didn't actually call the function. We want to re-randomize the stars. We gotta add it to our end game function down here. Reset the game. So we want to re-randomize the stars, right? Sound right? You still there, Dylan? Did I lose you?
Sorry, I don't know what the heck happened. I lost audio.
Oh, that's right. I couldn't hear you for a while either. But that's okay.
Yeah, I unplugged my headphones and I lost my audio. I got it back now.
So I think this should do it. I created a function called randomizing the stars. I defined the function, then I called it immediately in the initialization function. And then when we reset the game, I just recalled that again, and that should re-randomize the values, and everything else should just flow from there. So I guess I can just force this to end here. Let's I like this box we created. This is a nice way to handle all this stuff.
Yeah, I love it. Perfect.
All right, so now the game is over, and when we hit a button to play again, it should it just re-rolls the value of the.
Nice. Yep.
Nice.
Cool.
So that's a nice little piece of candy. I was just saying that, you know, when we have these sessions, it's fun to do the hard things. Then like it's fun to do one cool little thing along with it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, a little piece of like what am I trying to say? Like a garnish.
Yeah, exactly. So let's it's so cool. Frieza wins round one. I'm just kind of testing weird combinations here, so let's let the next round be a tie. I think it's rock solid. I don't think there's any problems with it. Yeah, I remember when I was working with my friend Rick Myers from Appley, the one who built all my logic widgets. There were times I'd be like, "Are you sure it's gonna work?" And sometimes you just feel like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's gonna work." Like he knew he built it right, you know. And other times, like, well, test it and see if you can break it, you know. But other times he was like, "Nah, it's fine."
When you know, you know.
When you know, you know. I mean, think about it. As of right now, it's a complete playable game.
Yeah, no, I am.
It starts over.
So excited for.
If we ended it now, it would still be a done game. It's not a very, you know, there's more we want to do, but it's actually technically a done game as of right now. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, we just made a loop. It loops now.
It does.
Restart, continue to refight. You got the two characters. This is Frieza's Fury right here. This is at its core the game that I had in my head.
Yeah, just a couple months ago, you know, when we were sitting around Creekside Pizza, it was just an idea. Now it's a real thing. Programming's magical.
Yeah, this is so close to what I was thinking in my head. I really like the way this background looks.
Round two.
It is. It's crazy. Round two.
There's several things I want to do. I want to make sure the position of the box is totally squared and lined up. Then I want to check the position of the text inside the box once we make sure the box is square.
Yeah. Man, it looks so good though. I love the way that box turned out with just the light gray around and the box.
I do too. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, that was a great choice. So aesthetically pleasing with the space background. Is it possible to keep them from resetting when this screen happens?
Yeah. Yes. I don't know.
I don't know exactly how simple that would be.
Yeah, I think my concern is that I built that reset function into a place that it probably isn't optimal. So I need to see where that happens. It's somewhere in the it's up here. Way up here. So it's this reset player values. That is being called somewhere, probably where it doesn't need to be. So, where is the... in round loop. So I think it's what's happening right here. So as soon as the because it makes sense to reset it. So yeah, what's happening here, so the round state is 2, it means the round ends, then this box shows up, and then we get a 5-second timer. And then we change the round number and we reset the player values to start the new round, which makes sense, right? It is where we don't want it to happen is when we don't want it to happen if game. We basically want this to happen if the game hasn't ended yet. If the game has ended, we don't want to do it, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to save my work here, and I'm going to try this because that way, if we fuck it up, we can just go, no, that didn't work. I think if we say if game over equals false, then
Oh.
so game over, right now, boom, nothing's resetting. Yep. Okay. So it starts. I like the way that feels. Resets it before
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And so now the game is over.
Yeah, this is great. Look at everything you want, and then
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
And then press A to play again, and there it is. Boom. There we go.
Boom.
Fixed.
Reset.
Done. Fixed.
Cool. That was quick.
Yeah. That was quick. Quicker than I worded my.
That was really quick. Nice.
So let's save it. Boom. You want me to send this one to you?
Yes.
Let's make a list of what we want to do next time. I don't.
Oh, there was that bug.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
So
Can we duplicate it? Show me how it works.
Yeah, fight with Kai Blast. Just sit there and blast each other with Kai Blast the whole time.
But what happens when I run out of Kai?
Oh, I guess you'll have to charge up again. If you go up like right next to each other, you can punch and do a Kai Blast at the same time. That's what I normally do. You can hold down both of them, and it goes even faster that way too. But okay, see, there's a Kai Blast. Now whenever you reset, the Kai Blast is still there. Goku's still in his... He's always in his punch form too. You just can't really tell because it's so similar to their regular form.
Wait, so let's do that again.
Yeah, so they don't reset to their original sprites, to their base sprites, and the Kai Blasts they like formulated. Oh well, that was the end of the round. Oh man, that's so cool though.
So there's a couple things. One is that they need to reset to their original sprites. That seems easy. And two, why are we ending up with an explosion that persists in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah. The Kai Blasts stay there whenever it resets, but then as soon as the round starts, it disappears.
Right.
And that's been pretty consistent. But it might just be finishing its loop. It like pauses its loop and then
but I
finishes
think we
it out.
can actually force it to reset all of that stuff.
Cool.
I'm gonna we might be able to do it right now. Let me try something.
Okay.
We're gonna have a function that does a couple things. We're gonna call it reset sprites. I'm not wild about that name, but I can't think of anything better. So we're gonna have we have to remember that we did this in multiple places. So we want the sprite. Here we go. We want these values. Basically, when the round ends, we're just going to reset the sprites.
Yes.
I think this is actually a really easy fix.
Nice. Yeah, I thought it might be, but I wasn't entirely certain, especially with the Kai Blast part. I was not certain why that was hanging around.
And now what we want to do, I think what's happening is that it's ending the round before the Kai loop ends. So it has something to do with this Kai loop, whether a Kai blast is active or not, remember?
Mm.
So down here in Kai blast land, um, okay, not the punch loop, although maybe we want to reset we want to set the punches to false, and we want to set the Kai blast to false, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever the round gets reset.
Yeah, so we want P0 punch and P1 punch to be false, and we want P0, P1 Kai blast and P0 and P1 Kai blast to be false. I think if we do all of that,
Yeah, so we want to
I hope it
text
doesn't
false.
fuck up any of the loops if we just do it in the middle of the loop like that, but I think it's okay.
Couldn't you just put those in the reset variables too section? Because those are initial variables that we have set.
Yeah, you're right.
The
But I
different
think
ways.
well, yeah, I think you're right. Um,
I was just thinking out loud.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Because
Let's
yeah,
do that
those
actually.
are variables
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
So we could call on those to just be like, then we're not attacking. We just reset around so we're not attacking anything.
I think you're right. Yeah. Good call. So let me
Yes, I'm learning.
so I know I'm scrolling like crazy. I'm just like making sure I'm not overlooking something, you know.
It's the only way.
Right. So right here is where we want everything to happen, right?
Yes.
We reset the gauge values and we set this. I think we can just copy and paste what we just did here. Where are you? Reset sprites. So we can copy this out. Control C. We can get rid of that. Now, before we ever draw it, we want to put them right there.
Yeah.
And we also want to say, P0 punch equals false. P1 punch equals false. P0 Kai blast equals false, right? And P1 Kai blast equals false.
Is there one for the Kai blast sprite?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, no, because the sprite's only being displayed when this is set to true, so this should take care of it.
The explosion, maybe set the explosion to false.
Oh, yes. Where did we do that?
Yeah. So many pieces to the puzzle.
Yep, there are a lot. Okay.
I love it. So
Kai
cool.
blast loop.
Yeah, explosions. And I think that's what actually calls
I wonder if we need to reset I wonder if we need to reset the loops and everything.
I think setting it to false does reset the loops in a sense.
Oh shit! What the hell is the variable called?
Chi blast explosion. Well, P0 or P1 chi blast explosion. I think.
We have impact and explosion. Right. Okay. So explosion.
Chi explosion. P0 chi explosion.
Where's the code that draws it?
Yeah.
Right. P1 chi explode. P0 chi explosion. P1 chi explosion.
Yeah, so set those two to false.
Right.
So then I think we're covered at that point.
I think so. My only concern is I might want to reset the loops as well, so the loops start back at 0.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's necessary. It could be one of those things that is harmless if we do it, and if we don't do it, maybe it just starts out with the other sprite or something because it alternates between the sprites, and maybe no one notices or cares. I think we do want to do that because otherwise, when the next time we get an explosion, it's probably going to start on the wrong sprite. We want to
Let's go ahead and do it then.
We want to reset those loops every time. Okay. So it was right here. P0 chi explosion. Is that right?
Yes.
P1 chi explosion is false. Now, and I think we want to say, what are these initial loop values? P0 punch loop and P0 chi blast loop. I think we just reset those to 0. I don't think there's any harm in it. I think it'll make make sure the loops start at the right values. It's not going to break anything in between while the rounds are running. Let's just do it.
Let's do it.
P0 punch loop equals 0. P1 punch loop equals 0. P0 chi blast loop equals 0. P1 chi blast loop equals 0.
Yes, perfect.
Now, if we duplicate it, so just
perfect.
Whoa, what happened there?
That's right so far. Nope. Yep, they're reset.
Yeah,
Everything
why
went
did
away. Because they was in the middle of an attack whenever Frieza lost.
And that's fine.
That's right, I think.
That's fine.
Yeah, that looks good to me. Yeah, he's in the middle of getting attacked. And then, yep, this one, it holds it out because you actually won. So it holds them wherever they're at. So sometimes they'll actually be behind the box and stuff, too.
I wish I
think
could
will look good.
figure out how to reliably duplicate the bug, but now it should go away. But
No, you just did it. The way you just did it, it was gone. Yeah, all of it's gone now because, yeah, the characters went back to their standard position. Both of them did, and the explosion was gone. Yeah, because the bug was happening with punching and Kai Blast.
right,
It was happening.
so there's an explosion overlaid there. That's what we're seeing, right?
Yep, that's the
Yep, and then it
explosion
goes.
over them, and then it's gone.
Yeah, we fixed it.
Yeah, everything gets reset now perfectly. Yes, that's awesome.
Nice. Not too shabby, my friend.
Not at all.
So I
This
think
is going.
next time, let's see, character selection screen. You mentioned something about the Kai Blast impacting each other. That I haven't even
Oh yeah.
I haven't even begun to wrap my head around that yet. So let's. I want to tweak position of pop-up box and text. Make sure that polish it. In other words, I do want to have a title screen at some point. That'd be cool. Not.
Yeah.
We also need update sprites. We just did that. Oh no, update sprites. I think yeah, we meant something different by that. I
If we do
want
the title screen with just text first, would it be pretty easy to put
yeah,
art in afterwards? Yeah.
definitely
Okay.
because I could basically
Perfect. Yeah. Let's do that.
I'll create a variable called screen or something like that, and
Okay.
screen value 0 will be the title screen. Screen 1 will be the gameplay, in broad brushstrokes, the whole gameplay experience, and then maybe some other screen somewhere else. But we'll just have a variable called screen, and then we'll start it out on the title screen, and then once the title screen goes away, we're into something else, the character selection screen, and then we're into the gameplay screen. Yeah, so I
Cool.
think that'll be actually really easy. I would say, let's do a couple things here. So this is one for you. New music for title screen and game over screen. What do you think?
Cool. I was thinking of what if the title screen it just like typed out Frieza's Fury and I made like typing now sounds like if it was like clicking sounds that was more
Has
like
this
static.
so it's going to type out Frieza's Fury one letter at a time?
Yeah, and then it did like a little typing sound effect.
Yeah, what's interesting is I don't know how to do that. Like, I mean, the sound effect is easy,
Okay.
but I think probably there's the brute force way to do it, which is just letter delay, letter delay, letter delay, letter delay. There's probably a more elegant way to do it where you take the string of text and then iterate over the positions of the characters in that string and then draw them to the screen one at a time. There's probably a more elegant way to do it that I don't understand yet. It's certainly possible. I mean, even with the brute force way, it's possible.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's all I've got in
I
my
was
head
thinking
so
something a
far.
bit more graphic for the title screen, but if you want to keep it super minimalist, that's easy. But I mean, we have I don't know how we're kind of running out of sprites, aren't we? Sprite. I mean, we
Yeah.
got this whole screen here. I mean, we could. It would be an interesting challenge in terms of how we're dividing up our sprites here. If this because we have enough here for at least 4 more characters. If we fleshed out 8 possible characters, actually these are the same really, right? These is transformed or not transformed. So
Yeah, they're transformed.
so we have room for 2 full more characters here with untransformed and transformed, right? So we have 4 possible
Yeah.
characters. And over here you could draw a bunch of sprites that collectively make up the start screen, the title screen. You could use this for title screen artwork, planets and whatnot. I think this is fine the way it is, and then this, of course, we're using for all our Kai blasts and things. So, I don't know. Do you want to make artwork or do you want to keep it minimalist?
Um, Probably maybe a mix of both. It could also be what if it was like stars or something like there was like space happening in the background, similar to our game map.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe there's like a black box behind our text so that the stars don't appear right behind
Yeah, we
our
could just
words.
sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like the same star fields we already have.
Yeah, but without maybe without any of the big stars, just the little stars.
Sure.
Or maybe the big stars can appear, but only in like where the text isn't going to be and not off the screen.
Yeah, yeah.
But not the planet. No planets.
Uh-huh. Because we now that we have a function for randomizing the stars and drawing the stars, we could essentially create something similar for the title screen where you just go, create title screen stars, do that, put the text on there, do whatever you want to do, add the sound effects, and then once that plays out, give it a few seconds, and then move right into the character selection screen.
Could you make the stars kind of move, like be falling or going off the screen or something? Like we're like moving through space, like all be moving in the same direction together somewhere.
Like kind of like you're in Star Trek and you're warping through space and they're flying towards you.
Yeah, yeah. Almost like a credit
Yes,
screen, but the
it's
stars are like
possible. I
scrolling.
don't know how to do it.
Okay.
I think the easy thing to do would probably be we basically create a 1x1 rectangle for each star, have it start out in the middle of the screen, and then randomize its sine and cosine values. So what angle that it's moving toward. Basically, just give it randomize the angle, and have enough of them where, on the whole, it spawns a star and moves it at a certain velocity towards the edge of the screen, and then just have a bunch of them do that. The key is to do it in a way that feels like, because as you want it to be continuous. So, after a certain amount of time, you want to spawn a bunch of them over time, so randomize how much time between the stars. There's a lot to figure out to make that happen. I'm sure I could look up there's probably this is well trodden territory. Someone's already figured this out a gazillion years ago. But,
I've got a reference video from a game that I saw when I was doing my research a little while ago.
I can give.
So I'll send that over as like basically a star field that some other person had made. It was just like all the stars went down, but he made them have 3 different speeds. So some of the stars moved slow, some moved medium fast, and some moved really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it with maps, actually. Now that I'm remembering, he made 3 maps. And something, I don't remember all the way. Hey, I just remembered that one, but I was kind of thinking of that.
So you have the star field that, you're warping through space forward and the stars are coming at you. What else is on the title screen? Just a box?
I was imagining, right now I'm just imagining, well, it was not really a box. That was just so that nothing would appear behind the words. I was just imagining like the words getting typed out, like Frieza's Fury, like, and then maybe like fan art made by Zach and Dylan or whatever we want to put.
Yeah. Frieza's Fury,
title
a Dragon Ball Z. Probably something like, just to cover our asses, just do something like call it Frieza's Fury, a Dragon Ball Z fan project.
Yeah, there we go.
By Dylan Metzing and Zachary Fruhling, something like
that. Your name's got to go first.
Okay, Zachary Fruhling and Dylan Metzing, sure.
Yeah, there we go.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, that works. Yeah, we could do that.
And then press start to play, and then it goes on to your either a title screen that is like select characters and maybe an options or a training. Maybe there can be a training fight where there's like no time limit or something. No rounds or anything. It's just one round. You just fight until you press end the round.
Yeah, it's interesting because I basically want it to loop until there's a lot to figure out, but it sounds doable. I like it. Do you think it really matches the rest of the game, or is it too? There's nothing that really shows Dragon Ball Z. It's just stars, right? Do you want it to be a little more Dragon Ball Z themed on the title screen?
It would be really cool to have like the Dragon Balls and maybe Shenron, which is like the dragon that they summon. Maybe like I'm almost imagining it flashing like thunder or something, like it's like flashing in the back somehow. Maybe with little light rays.
Sketch it out and send me a sketch.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to make it in pixels.
Yeah. Or even if it's just like
In
a,
my head.
I mean, even to me, a couple things like just a broad, just a layout, like kind of just draw out what the title screen looks like,
Okay.
and then if you
Yeah,
want to
I'll
start,
draw what I have in my head here,
yeah,
and I'll just write out the words, but just like imagine them getting like typed out. Which yeah, I guess if that's too difficult, they definitely don't have to be typed out. Maybe just have like Frieza's Fury pop up first, and then
hmm
have the next text pop up, and then the next text instead
I
of
guess I was thinking something
typing.
bolder, like like big bold words, not tiny little words, But to do that, we'd have to
Mm,
draw it out of rectangles.
yeah, yeah, like a big
But you
old.
could,
I'm imagining like making it more with like music, like doing a rock guitar,
yeah. I have a
going
challenge
off of
for you.
like
Do you have graph paper?
yes.
Why don't you tape together enough graph paper to give you 128 by 128 squares and go crazy. Just draw whatever you want because anything you can draw anything with rectangles. A pixel is just a rectangle. Just go crazy. Draw the coolest thing you can come up with. Don't worry about what it's made out of. Just draw the coolest title screen you can come up with.
Okay, and then yeah, I can see how many pixels it is after that.
But that yeah, and that's okay. Yeah, but give yourself 128 by 128 canvas. Make basically draw a big tape together enough graph paper where you get 128 by 128. Draw a big 128 by 128 square, and then just start filling it in. And because anything we don't have to do with sprites. Fundamentally, we can draw it out of rectangles, and we have a code for drawing rectangles. We can just create a bunch of code to draw in all the rectangles that you need.
Oh, okay.
So you don't even need sprites technically. So you can make big words, big letters, big whatever. It's all just rectangles.
Okay, perfect.
In fact, that's how I did on my website. There's that little slot retro slot machine game. That's how I created all the graphics for that. There were no sprites in that environment. I just drew each picture out of a bunch of small, tiny little rectangles.
Oh, cool.
So that's a way around our sprite limitation as well.
Okay, it's 128 by 128.
Yeah, just go crazy. Don't go too crazy. You don't,
Okay.
make it big and chunky, and fill up the screen with a cool title screen. See what you can come up with.
Okay, yeah, maybe that'll be. I'll make like an art titles page that has like Frieza's Fury and kind of bigger letters with Shenron and the Dragon Balls.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
and then after that, have that text screen that I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it just shows that at the beginning for like 5 to 10 seconds, and the music starts playing, and then it goes to the text. It's Frieza's Fury, a fan-made game by Zach and Dylan. Press start to start the game to begin, and it just like chills on that screen.
I love it. That sounds great.
Okay, perfect.
That way you can
Okay,
just be
yeah.
more artsy with it than just plain text. I mean, this is cool. Let's show off our artwork.
Yeah, it'll be easier to do it that way too. I wasn't thinking about doing that. I was like
Well,
trying to figure out the map, the sprites, and
the
was like,
what I'll do, if you can do that, send me a picture of it, and then what I can do is either print it out or on my phone or on my tablet or whatever. I will basically decompose it into rectangles, and go, okay, here's a big 1 by 8 rectangle, here's a 3 by 8 rectangle here, and I'll just draw the whole thing out of rectangles.
perfect.
Don't go too crazy, otherwise
Yeah,
there'll be so
I
much
might
code that
even
will.
grade it up.
Yeah, but so
Perfect.
medium crazy. Go
And I'll
medium
try to
crazy.
even figure out the colors.
Yeah,
Make you a
exactly.
paint by number, a color by number.
I love it. Well, let me go ahead and send you this version of it.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. I almost forgot.
Make sure I saved it. Yep. Okay, let me do a couple things. I'm gonna hit the be right back
Dude, the
screen.
rounds working is so sick.
I'm so glad
And
it
that bug
works.
is fixed, that explosion bug. Yeah, I was noticing it a lot when I was playing, but it wasn't like bothersome, but I was like not sure how to fix it.
Oh, I guess I still had hidden items shown from last time. Okay, show hidden items. Yep. Let me go to my email here. Compose. Frieza's Fury and 7/3/2025. Okay, so let's see what we got. It's under users, Zachary, app data, roaming, PICO-8, carts, fight. That's the one. That should be the current one. Send.
Let's go. Okay, let me go.
Yeah, make sure that's the right one. So let me unshow my hidden files because I don't want to mess my windows up. And let me go back to the game and hit the live button. There we go. See if that's the right version. I'm so stoked, man. We've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, this is crazy. Oh, it's on. Something went round one. Everything reset. Explosion's gone. Frieza wins. Everything's reset. We'll make them fight at the top of the screen. Round 3 is a tie from fighting.
Nice.
I got us a tie.
That's awesome.
And Frieza wins round 4. Frieza wins fight. Press A to play again. I'm just gonna let it sit there and it changes.
Yeah, it should just sit there until you hit anything. You know what? I love that we've been streaming this and recording it because we have a pretty awesome documentary of our progress.
Yeah, I was thinking about it earlier. Such a cool journey to be able to look back on.
Absolutely.
That's so cool. Yep, Frieza wins round fight.
Nice.
And now I'm pressing. And there we go. Now we're continued on to round 1 of the next fight.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. And now I'll pause it.
I was worried about how to end the game, and we figured it out. So
That was way simpler than what I was trying to do.
yeah, that's simpler than I was thinking about
Yeah,
it too. That's
so
part of the
fast.
nice thing about waiting a week, or so between sessions.
Mhm.
It gives me a chance to try out various things in my mind and go, yeah, I like this, or I'm worried about that. And then by the time I sit down to work on it, it's like, okay, let's find the simplest possible way, given all the bad ways I thought of over the last week.
You keep presenting really good options. I'm like, I have no idea what we could do going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I like very limited understanding of what might be possible.
But
And
this
then
is
you're
great
like,
again
here's
because
the
we've
3
made it so
options.
modular. We can go, rather than press A to start again, we can go, press A to fight again, or press B to select new characters, or whatever we want to say, and then we just change the values and reset everything, and go to the right state and the right screen, and boom.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see the character select screen come
Yeah,
to
I am
fruition.
too. I think it's gonna be. I've got a kind of mental picture. I think right off the bat, we need to decide how many characters we're gonna have.
Mm,
That's the fundamental choice there. I think the planets are pretty well fleshed out. Let's just run with all the ones that are there, but you need to figure out how many characters you want.
okay. Yeah, that's the hard part.
So think
Just
about that
because,
between now and next week, or next Sunday
okay.
or Thursday, or whenever we dive back in. So.
Okay.
And you have to, it's to the point where you're gonna have to commit to it soon.
I think it mostly depends on if we're going to do more attacks or not, because I was only holding out for sprite space for more attacks to be added. Like right now, there's already 4 sprites per character for being able to charge, like recharging Kai without just having to punch somebody.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to be off on your own and just like charge your Kai back up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But that costs 2 sprites per transformation.
Right.
And then for each additional attack we do is going to be multiple sprites
Yeah, so I
per
think that's,
transformation.
you'll have
Adds
to
up.
think about my suggestion is just find the middle ground, come up with a couple more mechanics that you want to do, make sure you have enough sprites for everything, and then I think it'd be cooler. I mean, I don't know. I like the variety of different characters. I think that's part of the game, right? Selecting your characters. So that's, to me, that's part of the fun.
It definitely is, yeah. And then once you have those characters, you want to be able to select from a fair amount.
Why don't we just here? Let me go back to looking at our screen here.
Yeah, because we could take off 4 from each row. Really,
I don't think we're gonna need these, because I have a different idea in mind for the character selection screen.
I read that the 000 space is a blank space. That it's not actually, if we were to use that space, that nothing should appear. I don't know if it's real or not, but I read that space.
That could be,
it comes
yeah.
with like a sprite blocking it whenever you first start up the game.
But
And we had been moving it around.
regardless, I think I'm gonna do the
Yeah.
character selection screen with a different way. I'm not gonna do it with sprites like this. I'm gonna just have one of these sprites with basically a drawn rectangle around them rather than the rectangle being part of the sprite. So I think we could
Yeah.
get rid of all these
Leap it.
and then bump
Yeah,
these
do it.
over. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And so we have what, 5? Is
5 sprites
this
so far.
all the variety of animations you think we'll need for each sprite? 5 per character?
Yeah, if we keep it where we're at now, at least, yeah, this would be fine. And we don't even have a way to charge up Kai yet. And that was going to be through a double tap, which you weren't certain we would be able to do or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I gotta do a little research on that.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of stuff I can send over from just me trying to figure
If it's
it
not
out.
a double tap, we can come up with some button combination that works. Hold down B and down or something. I don't know. Who knows, right? Whatever.
Oh yeah, that would work.
Button
holding down
combinations are way
down.
easier than repetition of buttons. So, or A and B together, even, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I would like to do like a charge, and I would like to do at least one super attack, if not 2.
Well, the reason I ask is that if we can keep this to 5 sprites per character, transform version aside, then we can get rid of these values here, these ones here. We could start here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for one character. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for another character. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a third character. That gives us three characters across each row times 2 rows. That's 6 total characters we could squeeze in.
Yeah.
What do you think about 6 total characters?
I think that definitely sounds good. Yeah, and then we can potentially just reuse the punching animations for, like if they did a special Kai Blast or like a special attack, just redo the same punching and punching animations still.
So, and then that way, that would give us, one if you're watching my screen, one character here, another one here, another one here, 3, then the transform version, 6 total characters. We'll get rid of these, leave a blank row here in case we just need a couple extra sprites, and just start them here. Get rid of these because we're not going to need these based on the way I'm going to do the character selection screen. And that'll give us 6 total characters. Here, though.
How's it going?
Good. I'll have a show and tell for you in about 2 minutes. So, but do you think? See, me that's a pretty good balance. 6 total. 5. If we can make do with 5 different sprites for each character and use those as the basis for all of our mechanics, and then we have 6 characters. Yeah. That's pretty robust. And then we can still treat it mathematically like we've been doing, adding 1, subtracting 1 from the sprites and whatnot.
Yeah, and then if we end up with extra space somewhere, we can throw in a couple more characters.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because we might have plenty of extra room on this screen or whatnot. I mean, and if we don't use sprites for the art for the title screen, we could go nuts with characters. You know,
That would be so fun. Yeah, I would love to have a bunch of characters, especially if we do. Yeah, just keep the sprites limited.
because
Yeah, not do
we've got all of our
special sprites
explosions
for all
here,
the
so
different
we pretty
attacks.
much used tab 3. Tab 2, we're running out of room. I don't think we're going to use all of
I think I'm
this.
going to take off some of those planets. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep the ones that are more lore accurate
Which
and get rid of some of the other
Well, the
ones.
one I'll tell you the ones I like visually. I like all of
Yeah.
these. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like these. I like these two down here. I'm not wild about this one right here. Visually, I think it's kind
Oh
of
yeah,
cluttered and
that's
weird.
King Kai's planet.
Oh, do you, okay? Is it recognizable to me? It looks kind of haphazard and not recognizable like a planet even. But is it recognizable?
Yeah, it should be to anyone who knows. All my roommates saw it and were like, "What the fuck? How did you do that,
Okay,
dude?"
well,
King
yeah.
Kai's planet, because
Then keep it. Yeah,
King
yeah.
Kai is like he's a god from the lore basically,
Uh
and he
huh.
lives on just a little planet that's just got one road that wraps around the whole planet, and then his house
Gotcha.
and a garage on it.
Okay, well that's why I didn't
So he's got
recognize it. So then keep it.
yeah,
And I do like this.
it's just
I
a
like the
small
Dragon
little
Ball planet here. That's cool. I like.
yeah, that's my
And what
favorite.
about these? The Corp. What is that?
Corp, that's the capsule core spaceship that Goku takes to get to the planet Namek, where Goku and Frieza fight.
Gotcha.
So
So
that's
that
like Goku, and that's yeah, he uses it often. So that's Goku's ship, and then above is Frieza's ship.
and you want this to be part of the background too? Like sometimes there'll be a ship instead of a planet.
If we did I was thinking if we do the character select, have like a planet select, so that you can pick
Right.
like, well, it'd be like a stage select, and you could pick for the background of that stage to be Frieza's ship
Gotcha. Okay. I like that.
or
So
the ship
that
destroyed.
that all works for me. I mean, if we use these exactly as they are, that'd be great. I mean, I see nothing wrong with that. I love it.
Perfect.
But
Same,
you
yeah, I
know,
really enjoyed them all.
so we are definitely running out of room though. So we're going to use most of tab
We are,
0 for
yeah.
sprites, maybe all of tab 1 for sprites. Tab 2 is for planets and backgrounds and Dragon Balls, of course. And tab 3 is pretty much used up with explosions. So we're kind of running out of room. So I think the only way to do the title screen is with rectangles, not with sprites. So yeah, go nuts. Draw out a 128 by 128 background, and I'll just hand code that with rectangles.
Okay.
But hopefully it won't
I'll
take.
work on
Don't
that.
go too crazy. Otherwise, we're gonna have so much code that we're gonna use up our token count. So moderately crazy. Make a cool artwork, but not so crazy that it's 128 by 128 individual rectangles. You know, think big and chunky
Okay,
but
so
artistic. Yeah,
don't fill in every single one.
yeah.
So
Just
the ones
black
that we don't fill
background.
in, just stay black.
Yep, black
Okay, I'm gonna
background
do
and.
it in space. I'm
Mhm.
literally just gonna write Frieza's Fury, probably with white, maybe
Yeah, yeah.
yellow, a little bit of yellow in there,
And go
and
crazy
then
with the
draw
font.
out
Make it look
the
cool. You know.
7 Dragon Balls and the Dragon Shinron.
Mm-hmm. I
But
like
then
it.
the background will just be space, just black, black. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe with some
Oh,
stars or
well,
something.
Dragon
Yeah.
Ball Z might, or Frieza's Fury might be the Dragon Ball Z colors, the same
Yeah.
colors that they normally read Dragon Ball Z with, which I think is like yellow and orange.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah, we can do that. Well, we can play around with the
I like
different
it.
colors too. Yeah, yeah, I've got an idea in my head then for the picture, and I think I'll just draw it out on a regular paper, try to get the idea kind of sketched,
Mm-hmm.
and then just make it better and better as I get it onto like, because I'm going to try to just do the graph paper once and not have to erase 1,000 times, like
Yeah,
figuring out.
I think it's going to take so much time to sit there and hammer it out in terms of rectangles. Like, we're not going to want to redo it very much. So make sure you're happy with it on paper before we start making it.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll probably get started on that sometime next week
Mm-hmm.
because I'll be over at Max's all week, pretty much just hanging out, working
Nice.
on music.
Awesome. And then eventually, you know, I would say separate music for the title screen than
Yeah,
the gameplay music.
agreed. And I also I kind of made music for whenever the fight ends too, which I think is
Oh, okay.
already in your game if you want to hear it. But
Oh, really?
yeah, I think I put it over. Yeah, I think it's over. It's just not being used for anything yet. And the sounds, the last sound effect.
The last sound effect?
Yeah, I don't think I made it. Yeah, it's not into the songs yet. the last sound effect.
Where? How do I do it? I don't want to mess anything up.
Click that arrow. It'll be like 9 times or something. Oh yeah, it's that last one.
And
Yeah, that red
how do I
one.
play
Yeah. Press spacebar.
it? So where do you anticipate that going?
Potentially whenever the fight actually ends, like when it displays that box like Frieza wins fight, and then you press A to restart.
On
And
top
then
of the
the
background
prompt
music or instead of the background music?
The part with the background music. So it would just play that once, and then it would have the bump, 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 like the drums one, and probably the bass soundy one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'd probably put other sound effects with that, but then I would have it loop the other sound effects like 2 or 3 times and only play that sound once at the beginning of the sound.
Okay.
So if you sat there for a little while, the song would loop, but
have at it.
You would usually play once and then press A.
It's cute. It's cute.
Definitely does not have to be the. I'll probably keep tweaking with it, but
yeah.
I started messing around, showing Brandy sounds. I was like, "Dang, this sounds just like an outro to something."
Mm-hmm.
I gotta save this and put it in the game.
Well, I'm glad that people are impressed with it because I'm I can't really tell whether we've created something awesome or if it's like, wow, this is like amateur hour, So.
Oh no, I think this is awesome. Yeah, I think that I think this is turning out pretty dang cool. It's very aesthetically pleasing. It looks good. It's playing well.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. The kids were having fun with it.
That's
Bubba
awesome.
was enjoying it a while ago, and he hasn't even seen it since it got actual round ins. Last time we were fighting, it was like, did you win that one or did I win that one? I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't tell, but now it's like, you will know, and
Yep.
you will even know if we tie. It'll tell you, so that's like so cool.
That is really cool.
Because a lot of times we are all like up on each other whenever we're fighting, so it's like our health do look like they end in a tie sometimes, and it's like, no, it's probably you won or I won, but
I know there's also tabs here, and I haven't experimented, but the tabs are part of the same program, so we could create a separate tab just for the character selection screen. I want to start out by building it in a separate file, but eventually we could just build it into a separate tab, and it all comes together when you run the game. So
yeah. I was basically just watching other people building different types of games as my research. So I just watched people make different styles of games, and I noticed a bunch of other people were using the different tabs, but
and
I wouldn't entirely see how it worked.
Just as easy to scroll.
Yeah. It's so big.
It is. We've used up almost half of our tokens here. So.
Yeah, I just noticed we're almost to the halfway point.
Yep. So we're gonna have to start being lean and mean here.
At some point, we'll be able to cut back some stuff. I think.
I think so. I already see a couple places that I could trim and make things a little more efficient. So, not just in terms of the variable names, but in terms of how to just be efficient in the code.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like there might be an easier, like a smaller way to do the stars, which I know are taking up a big.
Yeah, definitely. But on the other hand, it looks awesome right now, and I don't want to mess with anything awesome.
It does. I love it. Yeah, that's like my favorite part of the game, probably. Really don't want that messed up. Yeah, I think that's so cool. Most games don't have a randomizer like that.
Wait, what'd you say, Bud?
I said, yeah, I think it's really cool. Most games don't have like a randomizer like that.
Yeah, exactly.
For their background.
I mean, that's
never seen.
To me, that's like programming circa 1984. It's like, let's make it cool, let's randomize it. Yeah, So.
Yeah, I freaking love randomizing things.
Yep, me too. So.
I never would have, figured that was even a thing we could do.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever played the game Super Hot?
Nope.
It's like a newer game. It's on VR.
Nothing about it.
It's a very cool game, and I bought it, all the versions, and it turns out that they have a PICO-8 version of the game.
Oh, really?
But it was just, it's called PICO-Hot. It's so completely different. It's a game where basically you're like in a simulation, and these like red figures are coming at you to like kill you basically or fight you. but they only move when you move. So it's like the game is paused and then you start moving your character and they slowly move.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do like dodge bullets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, it's like a VR game
Okay.
normally, but yeah, somebody built it in PICO-8 and it just like the art in it just blew my mind. Like looking at the different way in which they had built that game. That it was just yeah, just thought I'd bring
I
it
still
up to
think
you.
one of these days we need to like have another like virtual retro game night and just mess around with old
We
Atari games
do,
and Nintendo games, and just fuck around and discover other cool things we like, get some inspiration, you know.
we do.
Oh, did you check out that mobile game I sent you? Or even if you can't play because you don't have an iPhone, did you check out the video of me playing it?
The
The
I
Pixa
think
game.
so. What was the name of the game? Yes. Yeah, I watched like the first 5 to 10-ish minutes of the video the other day while I was doing some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looked like fun.
It's a cool game, you know, and
I
it's.
haven't played any of those type of
But what's
games.
interesting to me is there's a lot going on in that game because there's a guy named Warren Robinette who programmed the Atari 2600 Adventure cartridge, and so he came up with a system of a square pixel going around a box, basically going around rooms that are box shaped. The castles and all the dragons, that's all part of that game. But that guy also was a founder of the Learning Company, which made educational games for the Apple II back in the day. And he used the same basic mechanic. You're a square box, you go around the screen and you interact with objects, pick them up, drop them, so on and so forth. And he used that for educational games, logic games, and stuff like that. And so those are two of my favorite things. I love that adventure cartridge, and I love the educational games that were on the Apple II using that same mechanic from the same guy on a different system. And then this mobile game is kind of an homage to that mechanic. You know, it's basically the adventure cartridge writ large, with this weird little story about this Warren Robinette being the main character as this pixel, and his mom criticizing him, so he escapes into this fantasy realm with dragons and castles. It's great, but it's basically the same mechanic as both of these old games that I love. So I love just how weird and abstract it is. Like the castle is like the most minimalist castle you can come up with. The sword is the most minimalist sword you can come up with, and so for me when I was a kid, it was a huge leap of imagination, and it was awesome. You know, so abstract and weird. But I love the
Yeah,
mechanic. It's so intuitive, just swiping left and right and up and down to move your square around and tapping to pick up and drop items. It's a really fluid, easy mechanic to learn. And I keep coming back to like, what can I do with that same basic mechanic and using that same basic style? Partly because it works, and partly just because I love it. And I would love to make my own little homage to those games.
do you
Because
have
that
any idea for storyline?
not at all.
Okay, I can start coming up with a storyline.
Yeah.
Been trying to come up with ideas already.
And so there's a lot to figure out, of course. But
Hmm.
but I like the gist of it. So
So you're thinking the next game try to kind of mimic those kinds of styles,
well, I
play with those.
I like that style. I even know a couple of the people that programmed the educational games back in the day because I've written articles about it, and I've corresponded with the folks that programmed the educational versions of those games. And they're all old now. They programmed it when they were in their early 20s back in the 80s. Now they're all retired. And so I floated ideas back then, like, wouldn't it be cool to take one of these old educational games and make like a mobile version of it? And they kind of hem and haw and go, yeah, well, they don't really get the vision, even though they're the ones who made it. But for me, I'm like, I could see the potential. The reason that it worked is that it's such an extensible mechanic. Once you get the rooms down and the movement down and the picking up and dropping objects, then you can go, great, what the hell could we do with it? You can do anything with that mechanic.
Yeah, there's already some games like that I can think of that I really enjoyed, and they were
Yeah.
just bare bones, like the clicky games.
Mm-hmm.
I can click on them. Yeah, I had one that was like an adventure one. You could like level up and get items and stuff.
So I mean, I've
It was
even come
very
up with, because I'm a teacher, so I keep coming up with with educational ideas. Like one weird idea I have, you might think this is really weird, but I keep coming back to it as a strange, fun idea. Like when you're teaching philosophy, like ancient philosophy, Plato has a bunch of different dialogues, and they all have Socrates as the main character. And without fail, Socrates in all the Plato's dialogues, he's somewhere around Athens. He's going to a party, or he's going to the courthouse, or whatever, and encounters someone and a conversation ensues, and that's what happens in Plato's dialogues. I have this weird idea of like the main character is this little square, and the square is Socrates, and all the rooms are different places in Athens, and you are Socrates going around just interacting with all the people in Athens, having some like weird overview of the history of philosophy, but you're Socrates as this little square on the screen wandering around ancient Athens.
I love it. No, why
It's
not?
weird, you know.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
a
what.
game right there.
Yeah, it's more
You can call
it's
it
more like
Socrates or
it's more like
Athens.
an experience than a game. Maybe there's not much to do probably, but you could conceivably have come up with like a little miniature, like a super encapsulated version of Plato's dialogues where you make choices and answer questions, and and then you kind of that reaches some conclusion. You move on and go to the party and talk to some people there, and like all of Plato's dialogues, they're not very satisfying because you never really reach much in the way of a conclusion. It's more about questioning and answering than conclusions. So and on the one hand, it's very dissatisfying. You have a conversation, you interact with someone, and then so what? Nothing happens. And
I
then off
love it.
you
It
go.
could be like Athens with a question mark.
Right, exactly.
Athens. And that's just like the title.
So that's my weird idea
That sounds like a fun game.
but that's not really a game,
Um,
But I do have in mind that that same mechanic could be used for a
well,
really cool adventure game.
it definitely could still be a game. Yeah, even if
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, you're not getting rewards or leveling up or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a experience and a story. My
Yeah,
wife
I
won't
was thinking
play.
more like a way to like teach
She won't
little
play.
kids about ancient philosophy, like you're Socrates and you're
Yeah,
wandering around and just introduce some
yeah,
basic
it's still be a
concepts and
game
have a
to
little
them.
dialogue about it, and then move on and just explore.
Yeah, that's totally worth
Mm-hmm.
giving a go.
I'm not sure that's the next project I want to work on, but that's an idea I've had for a long time.
I'd be open to it.
I think I want to whatever it is, I want to make sure that if or when we make another one, we're gonna have to get outside of Pico 8 because we just can't sell stuff on Pico 8. There's no marketplace for it. It's just
Yeah,
as cool as it
too
is.
small.
This is still just
Yeah,
this is still just a learning experience, and
yeah.
we're gonna have to pick I will probably have to pick the next tool to use to program in
Yeah,
something that
I
has a
don't think I'd be bigger.
something that has a pipeline to at least putting it on Steam or exporting it for mobile devices,
Yes.
iOS or Android or whatever. So
Yeah, that would be ideal.
exactly.
That would be
So,
so cool.
but there's fewer constraints. They won't have a sprite maker built in, and it'll have to. There's a lot. When it's the moment we change environments, we're gonna have to relearn a lot of stuff we had to learn in Pico 8 again from scratch. But we'll at least have the
Perfect.
foundation for how the coding works.
Exactly. And yeah, I've already made a whole game. And then we're already pretty deep.
Well, even again, you just don't know where it's going to go, right? Say
Hmm.
we create a website for this and throw it on a website and go, here you go, world, and we can say we created a game, start to finish, and maybe that will lead to you getting a job doing game music. Maybe that will lead to me getting a job programming, fixing bugs for a game studio. Who knows, right?
Who knows?
Yeah, you just don't know. You just
Or
make it
the
and put it
next
out
game we
there.
make would be so
We're
popular.
we'll start our own game company and start cranking out games, and maybe one of them will hit, maybe not. You don't know, right?
Yeah, I'm super about it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep thinking and racking my brain about a story. Try to get a story together.
I think the key to making, and I've been listening to interviews after interview after interview with indie game developers, and they all basically say the same thing. At a certain point, you have to end your game and put out a different one. You can't work on the same game for five
Yeah,
years. You got to put out a game, and then you make a better one, and then you put that one out, and you make a better one, and one of them might hit. You know, you can't
yeah,
spend 6 years working on a game as an indie developer. You'll never make a dime. You got to just start publishing your game. So come up with small enough ideas where you can actually finish it and then be okay with the imperfections and move on.
perfect.
And yeah, so we have to resist our temptation to work on this for the next 2 years and make it 100% perfect. We got to just go, great, that was game one. It's not perfect, but we're on to game two.
Yeah, we can always go back and add things in as we learn more.
Yeah, and exactly. People make version 2 of
Can
games all the
always be
time.
work in progress. Yeah,
So we'll just have to train ourselves. Think like not just game makers, but game publishers now. We got to publish games.
yeah. We're getting darn close to me feeling like this one's completely done.
I mean,
Just a
there's
few
more to
screens
do, but
out.
if we walked away from this completely, I would be totally satisfied with it.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty dang good now.
Likewise.
I'm pretty happy that we made the loop working.
Mm-hmm.
We can restart the whole fight and everything.
Yeah, that came together
We'd be able to pick new characters. That'd be pretty sick.
More easily than I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my friend, I'm going to get some dinner, I think, and yeah. So you want to meet on Sunday?
Sure, yeah.
Character selection Sunday.
Oh, wait a second. I think I actually have to take a friend to the train station.
Saturday's no
On
good for me
Sunday.
because I have plans on Saturday. So it's either Sunday or next Thursday for me. Either's
I
fine.
think
No matter what.
Sunday. I guess probably me say what day. Sunday, yeah. But we're leaving at 10. Hold on, I need to check one more message with
Yeah,
Brandy
it's okay.
real quick. Our dog had his surgery. He tore his ACL, so he just had surgery 2 days ago.
Poor dog.
So everything's been chaotic. And then our roommate is going on a trip, but he needs a ride to Klamath Falls on Sunday. Sunday morning. I will be. Yeah, I could do it before. I need to be done by like probably 2:33 though
On
at the
Sunday?
latest.
Yeah, we can do Sunday.
Yeah, but
Sunday at 11.
okay.
Let's do that.
Yeah, Sunday at 11. Perfect.
Yeah, we
okay.
can at least start working on the character selection screen.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I just need to see it start to get created, and then I think I'll be able to come up with more art for it. I don't know why I'm struggling.
Again, because
to
we're
wrap my
we're
head
gonna have
around
to lay things out on the screen pixel by pixel, and I think you're gonna have to probably commit to the number of characters that you want. I think
Let's go
6.
Yeah, I think that's what I had originally. Anyways, I'll probably just put all my original characters.
Let's do it.
Yeah, Frieza, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, and Boo. Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
had
I
six
can't wait.
characters.
That's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, we'll make our original 6 characters.
Yep, I love it.
Let's go. Cool. Okay, well, I will talk to you on Sunday then.
Sounds
Sunday
good.
at 11.
You have a good night over there.
Sounds good.
Tell Brandy hi for
Thanks,
us, and
Zach.
I can't wait to get back up
Thanks,
there.
Zach.
And I feel bad. We were going to come up there at the end of July, and just like couldn't happen financially. So
Yeah, it's hard.
that's okay.
Hard problem.
It's all good. It's the 21st century. We'll figure it out.
There. We'll see each other, and yeah, we get to talk like every week.
Exactly. It's all good.
We talk more now than we ever got to.
Exactly.
That's great. I love that we're making this game.
I am too. Yeah. I just I'm proud of us. We're seeing it to fruition. It's cool.
Thank you. It's going so well too.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy. It's very healing to my inner child.
Yeah, likewise. I'm
Especially
surprised. I
Ball
came to
Z.
realize how, just over the last couple of years, I realized just how much I pushed my mind during my career work, and I needed a reset. I need to rediscover the fun of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get that after my time in the military.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I gotta re-delve into myself a little bit.
Yep. Like everyone in their middle age, anyone with an ounce of self-reflection when they're middle age, it's like,
yeah, right.
done some amazing things, but now I gotta rediscover me a bit. So.
Yes. Time to look at myself.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this has been so much fun. Yeah.
Well, it's just the beginning. We're gonna make more games and publish them.
Yes. Yeah, I've been definitely brainstorming different ideas.
And
just in general.
I mean, there's fun games, but of course, I've got ideas for educational games too, and those are still games. So you can do all the above.
I love that a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, even I would like all of our games to have a hint of like educational basis to it, at least like morals, like good morals. Foundations.
And I love math games and logic games, stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Same. And I like hard games. I like games that make me like restart a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, damn it, I did it again. I have to try again.
Exactly.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
There's a ton of
those are gonna be
educational
fun.
games out there, but there's a lot of crap out there. There's not that many great educational games out there.
Yeah, I feel like they've gotten lesser. Like they used to be way
Yeah, they
more
were great.
educational
Yeah,
and difficult. Yeah, when I was a kid, I had a bunch of like the computer was just an education center, and it was all games.
Mhm.
All I did was play really cool, fun games,
yeah, likewise.
and I learned a lot. I did a lot of math.
Mhm.
There's
Yep,
always
me
plenty
too.
of math fun. Perfect. Okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
I'll spitball and I'll draw out my idea for what I have. I think I might even be able to just find a reference image for
Mhm.
the Shinron that I have in my head,
Okay.
and that might even be easier because
And I
then I can
think
maybe just like blow it up like a stencil or something.
between now and Sunday, I think I'm going to do the same thing with graph paper. I'm going to take a stab at just kind of graphing out the character selection screen, so I have some sense of what pixel, how big to make everything and where exactly it needs to go, so we don't have to play the guesswork
Perfect.
with like we've been doing with the text in the box. We can just map it out and
Yeah,
get it pixel perfect from the beginning.
perfect. Yeah, it'll be 6 characters.
Yep.
And I guess at the very end, if there's space and it's not too difficult, maybe we'll add more, but I don't think until like the very end.
Yeah, I think I got it under control. With the top part of the screen can be selecting the characters, and the bottom part of the screen can be selecting the planets, and off to the races.
Perfect.
Piece of cake.
If we can also do the Kai Blast, because I think there's only like 6 colors.
Mm-hmm.
But if you could pick out which Kai Blast color you got to use, I think that would be a really cool, unique piece to our game.
Oh
Because no
wait,
Dragon Ball Z game lets you do that.
so it's not the case that the Kai Blast color corresponds to the character. It's just they're that you can mix and match.
It normally does, but this is just a game, so I was like, it could be really fun to just have it to where you get to pick your Kai Blast color and have colors that aren't
Mm-hmm.
even in the show, if there's sprite space for them, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it could be a fun little
Mm-hmm.
thing, just because that's not ever an option. Normally, it is. The characters have their own color, but even like within the lore of the Dragon Ball Z universe, like each character's Kai Blast kind of changes
Mm-hmm.
throughout like the
Okay.
show, like for different reasons, like they can have
Yeah.
different color Kai energy.
So
So yeah, if it could be a part of that character select is also a Kai Blast select, you can pick which your Kai Blast sprite would be.
so any given character could pick any given color of Kai Blast.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
so then you don't even need to write rules for which Kai Blast go with which character or anything.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, well, piece of cake because you can just have a row for selecting the character, a row for selecting the Kai Blast colors, and then bigger, chunkier row or 2 rows for selecting the bigger, chunkier planets. So, piece of cake.
Perfect.
Yeah, I already kind of have a vision of it.
Sweet, I'm freaking excited.
Yeah, there's a lot to figure out because I mean the flow. It sounds easy, but you're gonna have to basically have variables for which one is highlighted. You have to have a way of locking it in and moving down to the next part of it. So there's a lot to
Yeah,
figure out there. It's not too hard, but it's not obvious either how to do it. So like everything in this
could
game.
they also be like a character select screen where all the characters are at, and then once you've picked your character, it moves on to the planet?
It could.
And then once you
Yeah.
or Sky Blast or like 3 different screens, do you think?
I don't think there's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not 3, maybe 2 different screens: characters and Kai Blast, and then planets.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like a stage select and a character select.
Yeah, that works.
And part of the character select, after you pick your character, it brings up all the Kai Blasts or something. So you can pick the Kai Blast color you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to the stage select. And I think it'd be fun if there could be a random pick. I don't know if how doable that is, but just to
Yeah,
put it in your mind.
that's probably easy. Actually, hit the random button and just automatically
Oh,
selects
perfect.
values, and
Yeah, it just selects a random. Oh, perfect.
that's
Yeah.
the easy part. It's
Yeah.
actually where to put it on the screen to make it look intuitive. That's the hard part.
I love that.
The randomizing is easy.
Perfect. Yeah, so I'd love a random option.
basically.
Oh, and then somewhere to select a timer. That's the last thing, is to select a timer. And I'm kind of between just like 99 or 0, like have it off,
Oh, I see.
like no timing. So you can just have a round that has no time, or one that's maybe we'll make it 90 seconds instead of 99 seconds.
I like 99.
A clean
99 looks cool.
It does look cool. I definitely enjoy it. Yeah, so maybe 99, or I want an infinity, but I don't know how to make an infinity.
I'm thinking about like what do we have to change in our game already to do that? We've coded a lot already in terms related to the timer. What do we have to turn on and turn off or change to do that? Changing the number is easy. Changing how it works is slightly harder.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wouldn't want to make it automatically 0 because that would end the round. But if you made it to where it was like stuck at a certain number and it never got to 0, then the round would never end because of the timer. I think.
Yeah, and it could just be a matter of disabling the loop that counts it down, and so it never and hiding it. So there's a timer that just sits there and doesn't do anything. It's invisible.
99 and it's invisible.
And
same colors.
It might be that simple. So. And I'm always looking for the easy way to do things. So,
Exactly. Yeah, and then there's just no timer. And maybe we could just do an infinity symbol with like a sprite or something.
Mm-hmm. The nice thing about making it invisible and never counting down is that it'll just never reach 0, and the only way to end the round is by reducing the health. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and that would be ideal. That would be perfect. Mm-hmm. For the no timer rounds. Yeah, and I think just those 2 options would be good. You want a timer or do you not want a time?
Right.
If you have a timer, it's this set time.
Time to run times. Boom, boom, boom. Which do you want?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unless there's a way to set a time, be like, I want it to be like type in a number, but no, let's do that.
Yeah, that sounds easy. I like that because I think it'll be easy to enable or disable it. Just because I can just hide it and stop the countdown. Because I can say, if timed is selected, then it runs the way it does. If untimed is selected, then you just go, only count down the timer if it's set to a certain value, and set the color to invisible if it's untimed.
Yeah.
And boom, it's untimed. Just like that, probably. So.
Yeah. Perfect. So just 4 variables, and I think that's pretty much the whole game. Mm-hmm. Title screen, somewhere to select those screens, and then the actual fighting itself.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be awesome, man.
So I guess it would go from the title screen directly into the character select screen, or would there be like a menu in between there?
No, just directly. Title screen, and then you press a button to move on. Throws you into the character selection screen. Yeah,
perfect.
Finish that up, then you get thrown into the
fight.
Or into the
into the stage select.
Stage selection. Yeah, couldn't think of the word stage.
Yeah, and then you pick your stage, and then you get dropped into the fight.
Then you got to figure out where you select timed or untimed. Probably on the stage selection, maybe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they could probably be in the same thing. Yeah, as part of the stage. Yeah, and then you get into the fight, and then once the fight ends, you get an option to either restart with the same selections or to fight again, or to go back to the character select and repick everything.
It might be fun to have a little sound effect for selecting. When you lock it in.
Yeah.
Boom, make a
yeah,
little
both for when you
kind of.
Oh yeah. Or some sort of sound effect.
Yeah, just something to make totally clear that you've locked it in.
Yeah. Let it know let you know that it registered you did something.
Like even if it's like a ka-chunk, like you locked it in,
Perfect. I'll mess around with different sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we're probably.
I also kind of.
What's that?
Never mind. I changed my mind as I was halfway through saying it. Anyways,
we're probably I would say six or 7 more sessions away from finishing this game.
Yeah, it's getting really close.
Yeah.
And with the rate that everything moves, it's like, let's take on this hard challenge today, and then we're just done with it by the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. It's good practice, man, because if you're studying game development at school, like sometimes they do these like little codeathons where it's like, you've got an hour, make a game, and wow.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Teach you to think quickly and agilely and on your feet and get it done,
Yeah, make something as quick as you can.
Because so much of software development is getting it done. You know, you can't be too much of a perfectionist. It's got to be shipped.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna maybe even try to start. I haven't even been on PICO-8 at all. This last week has been so chaotic.
mhm.
But hopefully this next week should be way calmer. So I should actually have some time to sit down.
Well, Sunday at 11. Let's plan on that.
Yes, sir. Sunday at 11 it is.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. I'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Have a good evening
Make
over
more
there.
progress. You too.
Talk to you
Bye.
Sunday if I don't talk to you beforehand.
Same.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.